Good morning. This is our first YouTube live. It's very exciting. Foggy, the Globetrotting adventurer, is back on the 16th of July. And with that in mind, I think it would be worth me doing a very quick reminder of who and what Foggy is, because it's been 3 years. Anyone that wasn't following me back in 2020 won't know that COVID-19 caused our 2019-2020 World Tour to end it's about 6 weeks early, and he was heading for he was going to meet his target of 250,000 miles. Unfortunately, we had to scrap it, and since then I haven't felt comfortable sending him on a world tour, because I know that often it's ME patients that Foggy sit him, and that means they have to go out in public, go to the post office, post him back, all that kind of stuff, and it didn't feel safe. And also, I wasn't overly happy that the travel industry was back up and running when so many are still at risk. Anyway, now that the rest of the world is back to normal, even though I'm not, I'm still shielding, and so are many others, Foggy is returning. So, what is ME Foggy Dog? ME Foggy Dog started off as a fundraiser for the ME Association in 2014. I created it. It's completely wacky. It was literally supposed to be a 1-year fundraiser to raise as much money as possible in 1 year. In the first year, I think we raised about £10,000 for the ME Association. It was really good. Went on telly. It was great. But we did another something called Foggy Does Sport after that, because we tend to raise awareness of things that ME patients find difficult, so travel, sport. And alongside all of his fun adventures, I write blogs, and this is in the early days, I used to write blogs, used to try and raise awareness of ME, CFS in as many ways as I possibly could. But then it kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger. In 2019, ME Foggy Dog became a social enterprise. If you don't know what that is, it's a not-for-profit business. So when we make a profit, 50% will go to Cure ME, who are, if you don't know who they are also known as the ME CFS Biobank, and they're based in the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. They do biomedical research into ME. They also enable it. The biobank holds tissue samples that researchers around the world can use specifically for ME research. And if you live in the UK and you've ever donated to a national charity and said, I want this money to go to biomedical research, more often than not, it will have ended up at Cure ME. If you donate through my Just Giving pages, it goes direct to Cure ME. It doesn't come and sit in my bank account for 6 months. It goes straight into the Cure ME bank account. So yeah, that's why I do it straight to Cure ME, because there's no delay. It's just donated in real time. Anyway, so now we're a social enterprise. We do still do fundraising with Foggy, but we are predominantly now campaigning, because there's so much stuff that ME patients need to be changed, because our lives are just stuck. We're almost treading water. We're not getting improved amounts of research funding. We haven't got any treatments or appropriate care. There is no cure. There's no biomarker. We're still being stigmatized in the press. We're still being stigmatized by some in the medical profession. Nothing's changed in the 10 years that I've been an advocate. 9 years. Because next July, when the next campaign ends, is our 10th anniversary. That's why I'm timing it to end then, so we can have a big party. Yeah, nothing's changed. So the need for ME Foggy Dog is just as big as it was in 2014 as just a fundraiser. Anyway, so what is Foggy? So it's not just a case of sending a teddy around the world. When I first set up ME Foggy Dog as a fundraiser, I created a character. And this is the character that I created. I had to type it up because I've got ME myself. I tend to forget stuff. And if there's 6 months or a year in between world tours, I forget how to do things and, what Foggy's character is. So Foggy lives in Foggy HQ. Although I talk about a desperately life-altering, devastating, severe disease, I try to keep ME Foggy Dog's adventures light and fun, because it's a bit of escapism. So positive and fun. Foggy's favourite things are a cuppa, tea, milk, 2 sugars. Because if you live in the UK, if you ever say you want a cup of tea, you always respond with how you have it. So black, no sugar, milk, 2 sugars. So he has milk, 2 sugars. Foggy loves all animals apart from cats because he's a dog. He loves trains, planes, flying, jet skis, anything that's adventurous or exploring. I like the idea of Team Foggy. So if you help me with volunteering, you will always be part of Team Foggy. Anyone that helps is part of the wider Team Foggy. And when I first started, Foggy was a exact replica of my real life dog called Patch. The eye patch was on the correct eye, and they looked identical. It actually took me weeks to find a teddy that looked identical to Patch. So Patch is no longer with us. And I've now got a dog called Maggie who looks nothing like Foggy. But anyway, I digress. So when I'm acting like a child with Foggy, you have to remember the character in my mind is a 4-year-old little boy. But he's a 4-year-old little boy that also has a massive ego. So I'm his PA. He's literally like, everything's about him. He's the center of the universe. Yeah, it's always his idea. He's the best thing since sliced bread, etc., etc. So I made an entire character because it helps me to have a conversation with people if I can pretend to be a soft toy that doesn't quite understand Emmy. And when we first started the brand, he was saying, I don't understand. For example, I don't understand why in women, Emmy is worse around the time of the month. And then you try to explain in simple language to Foggy why that would be. It's just something for me to talk to. So anyway, so Foggy travels around the world first class, surrounded by bubbles in a jiffy bag. And anyone that pays attention on social media will know that anytime he goes for a wash, because he gets a bit grubby, he goes in the spa, surrounded by bubbles. It's never in the washing machine, it's always in the spa. So there is a reason why I use a soft toy. It's to drive engagement, get more people interacting. There's just as many people love Foggy for the fun and the quirkiness as they do for my Emmy advocacy. I know that the feedback that I get is, someone that's been stuck in their bed for 6 months might enjoy seeing a soft toy being a bit silly on Twitter, or I can't tell you the fantastic feedback I've had when he's been in Thailand or the Philippines or gone to see the, what they're called, the terracotta soldiers in China. All these places that he's been to are places that ME patients that are severe and bedbound would love to go to. They can see it through his eyes or through the lens of the person that's taken Foggy on that trip. There's always an ME motive for everything that I do, and that's partly why we're coming back now. I could say I'm going to wait another couple of years. It's too risky. I'm not going to do it. But millions of people are now traveling internationally, fit and healthy people, traveling internationally. There's no reason why Foggy can't restart his global travel again. But I'm kind of at the point now where I'm thinking ME patients are feeling forgotten and neglected, and many are still not comfortable going outside of their houses because of COVID, on top of everything else. So if I can bring a little bit of laughter, fun and giggles into their Twitter stream, newsfeed or Facebook newsfeed, whatever, then I'm happy to do that. And at the same time, raise research funding so that those people might eventually have treatment at some point in their life. That's why we're doing it now, because we can't wait anymore. I'm fed up with treading water. We're not making any progress. It's getting ridiculous. So me and Foggy are back 16th of July. But this time there's going to be a twist. And I'm not going to tell you what that twist is. Lots of plans and things. And I've got a couple of people helping me, both of whom have ME and me. So 3 of us have ME. And everything's got to be done in the next 3 weeks. That in itself is a massive challenge. And if they're watching this, thank you so much for your help, because it's going to be far bigger than ever. And I'm going to need everybody who has ever heard the name Emmy Foggy Dog or Sally Callow as an Emmy advocate to help, whether that is donating. I know many of you can't. If you've got any connections with anybody that deals with the thing that I'm going to announce in 3 weeks' time, help that way. Have a conversation and say, oh, I'd really be grateful if you help Sally with XYZ. I know that our community, many in our community, simply do not have the cash to donate. I know that. I'm not daft. That's why I tend to reach outside of our community. Unfortunately, outside of our community often don't know the need for research, don't know the need for treatment, or don't know how desperate we are. They don't know that severe patients are being neglected and harmed in NHS hospitals. They don't know that in, is it Denmark, patients are sectioned. They don't know this. So Emmy Foggy Dog is always fundraising and awareness raising. If anyone watching this has access to the media, whether it's one person in the media or you know so-and-so that works in HR or so-and-so that works in the production team of, you know, whatever, any help gratefully received. This one is going to be bigger and better than ever. Like I say, it's going to be quite a few twists and I'm really excited. But anyone that's got ME knows that excitement causes a crash. So I'm trying not to make myself completely flatline. But yeah, so I'm really excited to finally be back. Any help would be very gratefully received. And the fundraising target is huge. I set it up yesterday and I thought I'm going to stop messing around and pretending that we only need £5,000 or we only need £10,000. We need significantly more than that. And our target reflects that. Because even if we don't meet the target, by having that as the target, will hopefully open some eyes in terms of this is how much research funding is a starting point. That's just the starting point. It needs to go up, 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 up. I've been saying for about a year now that I personally believe, I estimate that we've now got 1 million cases in the UK. And I think it's the OMF has said 100 million cases worldwide, but many haven't been diagnosed. But it's, you know, these people meet our criteria. They have our disease. So, yeah, I'm no longer asking for £5,000. It's a lot more than that. But yeah, so it's an all-in effort. I'm going to chuck absolutely everything at it. It's going to be a very long year. But any help, even if it's just liking or sharing a post, every single bit of engagement helps. Because I don't like treading water. I don't feel like we've made any progress. So next July marks my 10th anniversary of being an ME campaigner. And we're going to have a bit of a party at the end. And I want to have something to celebrate. Whether that's the human rights abuse inquiry that I've been asking the World Health Organization, the UN and the UK government for the past 18 months. Whether it's the implementation of the NICE guideline, whether it's we finally get accepted onto Group 6 in the UK, whether it's the NHS finally updates their website to accurately represent our disease. All of these things, it would be really good to have something to celebrate next July, because not a single thing I've ever campaigned on has, what's the term, has materialised. It doesn't exist in real life. I've done lots of campaigning, lots of, you know, explaining situations to people and saying, please help me with this. But has anything actually tangibly changed? No. And I say that as a patient and as a campaigner and as the owner of Stripy Lightbulb CIC. Nothing's changed. And I feel every single speck of your frustration. So yeah, so keep your eyes peeled. On the 16th of July, I'm hoping to hold a launch event. I'm not going to talk about that now, but it is going to be a launch event. And I'm hoping to stream it live on YouTube. So you'll know all of my news on the 16th of July. But that's something else that we're planning at the moment. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled and help as much as you can, if you can. Sending lots of love.